In the dimly lit room, a young girl was tightly bound, slowly hoisted up. A blind old man fumbled cutting away her pants, then turned around using a thick tube full of milky fluid. Step by step, he approached the girl. Soon, the girl's agonizing screams echoed throughout the room. What did the old man intend to do? What had the girl done to have ended up in such a situation? Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Pattaya Movie Channel. Today I got you a suspenseful film with a thrilling plot and a shocking reversion at the end. Don't breathe. The film began in a desolate and secluded residential area. The long-neglected asphalt road, cracked and mottled, looked like flattened, sun-dried giant earthworms, quite eerie with the shrill sound of sirens. The lens gradually zoomed in onto a hunched old man who was struggling to drag an unconscious woman, a long trail of blood left on the street. The scene changed. The door of a house was effortlessly opened. Two men and a woman barged in with a tense countdown. The man with the crew cut skillfully disabled the alarm system. Obviously, they were not the homeowners, but three habitual criminals who steal for a living. The luxurious interior greeted them. Allie and the Braids were pleased with their surroundings. Cautious crew cut reminded them of the rules: no stealing cash, and the value of stolen goods could not exceed $10,000. The incessant chatter of the crew cut irritated the other two. They couldn't wait to make their move. Ali headed straightly for the ladies' walk-in closet, gold and silver jewelry, all tucked away, still unsatisfied. She even tried on the ladies' clothes, enjoying herself, even lying on the bed to indulge in a moment of being wealthy. The crew cut is more interested in the high-tech smartwatches. The usually rude Braids started to destroy things, not only smashing vases in the house, but also urinating on the floor recklessly. After a thorough search, the crew cut hadn't forgotten to restore the alarm system, break the glass window on the way out, and create the illusion of a break-in. Then the trio left with a swagger on the way back. The Braids was quite satisfied with today's acquisition. If every target was of this affluent level, it wouldn't take long for them to retire and go anywhere they desired, living their ideal and wealthy lives. Ali exclaimed excitedly, "Goodbye, Detroit." The crew cut was somewhat surprised and hastily asked Ali if she really planned to leave. Ali replied with certainty, "Yes, I will leave as soon as possible." The crew cut asked further, "When will you return?" Ali shook her head and said, "Never." With these words, the crew cut looked forlorn, sitting silently in the back seat, no longer speaking. After parting ways, the crew cut returned to his father's office, quietly placed the keys of the house back. It turned out the crew cut's father was a manager at a security company. Those wealthy clients all left a spare set of keys to his father, providing the crew cut with extremely convenient conditions for his crimes. The usual process involved stealing the keys, disabling the alarm system after opening the door, restoring the alarm after the crime, smashing windows and doors, faking the signs of breaking in to avoid suspicion of his father's company. The Braids was in charge of selling the stolen goods after each action. This time he learned from the buyer that there's a house nearby hiding a large sum of money well worth a heist. The Braids quickly gathered the crew cut, and Ali, in a restaurant, excitedly told them in a dilapidated and trash-filled residential area lived a solitary retired veteran. His daughter recently died in a car accident, leaving him with a substantial settlement of $300,000. Coincidentally, the house's security system was designed and installed by the security company of the crew cut's father, which means they could easily break in following their usual process and take the $300,000. Ali was obviously tempted, but she worried that the money might not be in the house. The crew cut was firmly against it. He always insisted on not stealing cash because if it's over $10,000, they would face a decade in prison once get caught. Also, he's concerned his father's company would be involved in a lawsuit. The Braids mocked him for being too timid. Ali assured the crew cut this would be the last time. The crew cut remained unmoved, leaving with a statement, "I won't do this job." Then he walked away. That night, unwilling to give up, Ali sent a message to the crew cut and pleaded with all her heart. She said, "I need this money to take my sister away from here for my sake. Please do one more time with us." The crew cut struggled, sighed deeply, picked up his computer and searched again for information about the solitary veteran. He's a Gulf War veteran who received a six-figure settlement due to his daughter's accidental death at this time. Ali was preparing dinner at home. It's a house converted from a car, simple and shabby. Her little sister was eating beside her. Their mother was watching TV on the sofa with her boyfriend, Ali. Not only had to earn money to raise her sister, but also her mother and her boyfriend. She's utterly disappointed in her irresponsible mother. Her sister said she wanted to go to the beach to surf. Ali listlessly replied, "It's not summer now." Her sister looked downcast. Ali stroked her sister's head with affection, then the phone on the table vibrated and roars. "It's a message from the crew cut. Fine, let's do this one." A few words swept away the gloom in Ali's heart. She asked her sister cheerfully, "Do you know where we can surf? It's California. Soon we can move there together, just the two of us." Her little sister, with her beautiful big eyes, noted for her sisters and her own future happiness, this job is a must-have one for Ali. At that evening, 3 individuals drove slowly to the neighborhood where the old veteran resided. Sparse population in this area make it look extremely desolate with numerous decrepit houses and thriving weeds. Braids ventured out to scout the situation. Ali and the crew cut waited in the car. Ali listlessly flipped through the tattoos on her wrist, gently caressing them. The crew cut, sitting beside her, inquired, "Is this your new tattoo?" Ali replied, "Got it just last night." The crew cut wondered why she chose a ladybug tattoo. Ali gazed sadly out the window, slowly recounting her childhood memories. Since her father left her and her mother often indulged in alcohol, blaming Ali for her father's departure. Furthermore, her frequent crying for missing her father exasperated her mother, who simply locked her in the car trunk. Sometimes for hours. Once a ladybug flew in through a small hole in the trunk. In the darkness, it stayed by Ali's side, which providing her a sense of security. The crew cut listened and hung his head, biting his lip firmly. He said, "Once we get that money, I'll leave with you." Ali turned and gave him a knowing smile. Just then, the Braids returned through surveillance. He found that there were no residents within 4 blocks of the veteran's house. This meant that the police wouldn't patrol here either. So this time it was bound to be a piece of cake. Suddenly, a vicious black dog ferociously barked at them through the car window, no matter how they tried to drive it away or threaten it. The dog barked with bared teeth, barking incessantly until a distant whistle called it back. Following the direction of the sound, the dog's owner turned out to be the very veteran they sought. To their surprise, the veteran walked forward with a guide stick for blind. The crew cut saw that and couldn't bear it. Stealing from a blind person, how ungrateful could they be? The Braids sarcastically said, being blind doesn't make him a saint. In the end, they decided to proceed that night. At the midnight, the trio approached to the old veteran's house. Accidentally alerted his large black dog, another bout of chaotic barking ensued. The Braids, from behind the fence, threw in some dog food mixed with a sedative. As expected, the black dog ate it all within a few bites. Soon there was no more barking next. The Braids prepared to do as he always did. Unlock the front door with the spare key and turn off the security alarm. Upon entering, they found 4 locks on the door, while the crew cut's key could only unlock one of them, reaching the side door. The crew cut took out a remote control, constantly peering inside. Ali asked what he was doing. He said the remote control could disable the alarm if aiming at the alarm system switch. That way they could pry the locks. But despite their efforts, there was no use. Ali looked up and saw a sunroof, only there were no security bars. Her size was just right to fit through. But the crew cut was worried he didn't want Ali to take the risk alone. Ali said no one could force her. It was all voluntary with the Braids' help. As Ali broke the sunroof, a 30-second security alarm countdown was triggered. Fortunately, she managed to slip in. As her feet landed, a piece of broken glass pierced her shoe soles. The clicking and clattering of footsteps echoed exceptionally clear in the quiet room. She pulled out the shard and tossed it onto the floor. Ali anxiously held the remote control, searching around the room. Finally, following the ticking sound of the countdown, she found the security system and successfully shut it off in the last 10 seconds. By the moonlight, Ali was observing the modest furnishing in the house. The table displayed photos of the veteran's daughter. One of them was even placed upside down. It seemed that although the veteran could not see his missing for his daughter never ceased outside, the crew cut grew increasingly anxious. The Braids contemptuously assured him there was no need to worry. Ali surely had succeeded and was safe. The crew cut glanced at him and whispered, "Could you genuinely care about Ali for once?" The words greatly displeased the Braids. He warned the crew cut that Ali was his girlfriend, telling him to know his place as a friend and not to cross the line. As they spoke, the door opened. For caution's sake, all the three removed their shoes at the entrance. Then they went to search for the fortune separately. The Braids quietly entered the veteran's bedroom. A family video of the veteran's daughter was playing on the TV. Her childish, adorable voice filled the room. The veteran was asleep. Despite this, the Braids still planned to leave a bottle of sedative, perhaps hearing a noise. The soundly sleeping veteran suddenly sat up from bed, seemingly staring directly at Braids. The eerie atmosphere terrified him, holding his breath. After a while, the veteran found the remote control, turned off the TV, and laid back down. Braids dared not stay. Leaving the sedative, he covered his mouth and nose and gently retreated. Ali was intently searching for the fortune. The Braids said he had drugged the veteran, who was now unconscious. Now they could proceed uninhibited, but several searches yielded no results. At this point, a door leading to the basement caught the attention of the trio, for it had a massive lock. The Braids took out a crowbar he had prepared earlier and exerted all his strength, but the lock remained undamaged. The crew cut asked if there were any other tools. The Braids said there were, of course, and produced his trump card, a 9mm caliber handgun. The crew cut thought it was too dangerous, as the veteran could legally shoot them, so he tried to leave with Ali. But Ali shook off his hand. Unwilling to give up just yet to achieve some level of sound suppression, the Braids covered the gun's muzzle with an empty bottle. A muffled bang echoed. Sparks flew and gun smoke spread in the air. The crew cut knew the situation had been out of control. Ignoring Ali's pleas, he left without looking back. The lock fell to the ground. The door finally opened. Ali and the Braids exchanged a smile, but soon they noticed a man standing in the nearby corner. The white hair and beard belonged to the old veteran. He asked who was there. Ali was petrified. The Braids picked up the gun on the floor, urging the veteran to calm down, lying that he was drunk and had entered unknowingly and would leave immediately. However, the veteran stepped on the shattered lock. He knew the Braids was lying. The veteran took 2 steps forward and reached the open door. The Braids grew even more nervous, pointing the gun at the veteran, and warned him not to move, but the veteran felt his way forward, slowly inching closer to the Braids. Then he snatched the gun and pinned the Braids against the wall. The veteran coldly asked, "How many more are with you?" Braids replied, "Just himself." The veteran's grip loosened slightly as the Braids attempted to catch his breath. A gunshot rang out. The Braids lay dead. Ali covered her mouth in terror. The crew cut, who had planned to leave from the front door, was also shocked by the gunshot, worrying about Ali's safety. He decided to return. In the dim, narrow hallway, the veteran approached. The crew cut pressed himself against the wall. He saw the veteran lock the front door again. Even the sunroof through which Ali had sneaked in was firmly sealed. Ali, hiding in a closet, sent a message to the crew cut, telling him the Braids had been shot by the veteran, and she was hiding in a cabinet. The veteran returned to Ali's hiding place. He moved some sundries, revealing a hidden compartment in the wall. Behind a wooden panel, there was a safe. For safety's sake, the veteran changed the combination of the safe. Ali witnessed the entire scene. The crew cut tiptoed to find Ali, saying they must call the police before the veteran and reveal everything that happened here. But Ali's focus was solely on the safe, based on her memory. She opened the safe. Stacks of cash were pulled out, totally over $1 million with money in hand. The two planned to leave immediately, but as they reached the front door, the veteran blocked their path. Strafing the area with his gun, Ali and the crew cut held their breath, not daring to move. Suddenly, the Braids' phone rang. The veteran followed the sound. The duo seized the opportunity and quickly climbed down the ladder to the basement inside the room. The veteran was busy reinforcing the doors and windows. Suddenly, he noticed a strange smell. Feeling around, he discovered 3 pairs of shoes by the door. He knew he'd been deceived. There must be others in the house. The veteran hurriedly opened the safe, only to find it empty. In the dark basement, Ali and the crew cut were still desperately searching for an exit. With the help of dim light, they entered a strange room. There were plants, a fan, and furniture. As the two were puzzled, a woman appeared like a ghost, startling Ali. The woman looked haggard, her hair disheveled, her mouth sealed shut, tied to the bed like a dog. The woman knelt down, begging them to take her with them. She retrieved a newspaper clipping from the corner based on the contents. The woman was the one who killed the veteran's daughter in a car accident. The crew cut suggested them leave immediately and call the police to rescue the woman once got outside. But the woman persistently pointed to one direction, sobbing unintelligibly. Following her gaze, they saw another safe. Footsteps from above got closer. Sure enough, the veteran opened the basement door with his gun. He descended the ladder, but stopped halfway. The crew cut asked Allie if she still remembered the combination of the safe. Allie tried reciting the veteran's code. Certainly, the safe opened. There was a set of keys inside. They quickly used the keys to unlock the chains binding the woman. Supporting her, they stumbled along, finally found and opened the locked door. But waiting outside was the gun-wielding veteran. A gunshot rang out. A bullet rubbed the crew cut's ear and flew into the cellar. He rolled down the stairways. Several more shots followed. Both the crew cut and Ali narrowly dodged the bullets, but the woman was hit and fell. The veteran crouched down, inching down the stairways when he touched the body on the floor and realized it was the woman. He knelt in agony, holding her and sobbing loudly. After a long time, he stood up and relocked the door, not only breaking the key in the lock, but also shutting off the power. The basement was plunged into darkness. The veteran tracked their location by using his keen hearing. The crew cut whispered Ali's name, but still exposed their position. Suddenly, a strong hand tightly gripped his throat, and a gun was pressed to his head. However, when he pulled the trigger, there were no bullets left. The crew cut cleverly kicked over a shelf, breaking free from the veteran. He dragged Ali along, feeling their way in the dark. Fortunately, they soon found the door leading to the living room. Having narrowly escaped from the death, the two finally crawled back to the living room. Barely blocking the door without a chance to catch their breath, they noticed the large black dog they had drugged earlier, staring at them with a menacing gaze. The crew cut handed the key to Ali, asking her to try opening the door. He attracted the attention of the black dog, but the panicked Ali couldn't unlock the door. At this moment, the basement door was kicked forcefully by the old veteran who had caught up with them. The black dog lunged at the crew cut. The pair had no choice but to desperately run upstairs, only to find themselves trapped in the bedroom again. The crew cut asked Ali if she still had the remote control. He triggered the alarm. Since right now only the alarm could help them escape, but Ali did not want to risk to be arrested and was reluctant to give up the money. As the two argued, the old veteran arrived at the door. The vent on the wall was their only way of escaping. The narrow space could only accommodate Ali. The crew cut urged her to move quickly, offering to get her some time. Ali looked at the crew cut gratefully and, without looking back, crawled into the vent. The old veteran bursted through the door. The black dog, seizing the opportunity, lunged at the crew cut. With a loud crash, the crew cut was slammed onto the glass ceiling and lost consciousness. The cracking and shattering sounds were intermittent. The old veteran followed the noise, searching with his gun. Meanwhile, Ali and the ventilation duct struggled to crawl forward. A deep ventilation shaft blocked her way. As Ali hesitated, the black dog followed the sound and approached. With her eyes closed and decision made, Ali tumbled into the shaft. At this moment, the crew cut slowly opened his eyes. He tried to prop himself up, but the old veteran nearby gave a shot. The crew cut fell back heavily into the room, struggling to stand up. He stumbled with the remote control, planning to activate the alarm system. But the old veteran was nearby with gun raised and waiting for him. The crew cut quickly hid in the utility room. However, he could not escape the old soldier's keen ears. With a few punches and kicks, the crew cut was on the brink of death. Ali had been injured when she fell to the bottom of the shaft. Bearing the pain, she continued moving forward. Suddenly, a large hand pulled Ali back. The old soldier had followed the sound. Soon, Ali lost consciousness. When she opened her eyes again, she found herself locked to the bed just like the other woman. She struggled and pleaded with the old veteran to let her go, but the old veteran remained silent in the darkness. Ali expressed sympathy to the old veteran, trying to convince him that none of this would make a difference. The old soldier finally spoke. He said the fairest thing would be for the perpetrator to give him another child. Everything had been under control. The perpetrator was already pregnant, but their arrival had disrupted everything. The old soldier said that now Ali must take all responsibilities. The scene shifted to the tool room. The crew cut, lying in a pool of blood, surprisingly woke up again. He skillfully dodged the black dog's attack and locked it in the room. In the basement, Ali prayed, but the old veteran scoffed at the notion of God, claiming it was a joke. If there was a God, such a tragedy would not have happened to him. The old soldier claimed he was not a rapist. He had never forced the woman. As long as she agreed to have his child, he would let her go. Now that the woman was dead, it was up to Ali to fulfill the uncompleted mission. He approached Ali with a tube filled with semen, Despite Allie's desperate struggle and cries, it was all in vain. The old veteran told her freedom would be granted in 9 months. At this critical moment, the crew cut arrived with a hammer in hand. He knocked the old veteran to the ground with a single blow, then untied Ali and restrained the old veteran. Ali, still in shock, punched and kicked the old veteran, swearing to make him pay for his actions. The old veteran, defeated and powerless, slumped in the corner. He told Ali and the crew cut to take what they wanted and leave the house immediately. The crew cut argued that if they took the money and called the police, they would be waiting to be arrested because the old soldier would expose them. If they took the money and left, it would be as if the night's events had never happened. In the end, Ali chose not to call the police. Running and escaping all night, both were exhausted. At last, they were able to leave unscathed. But as the door opened, a bullet went through the crew cut's chest. Horrified, Ali looked back. The old veteran had used a spare key to unlock the chains and followed them. Without hesitating, Ali opened the door and fled. The relentless black dog followed closely. Ali ran with all her might, reaching the place where they had first left the car. The car was still parked there. Ali was about to dive into the car, but the black dog leapt up and bit off her backpack. With no car keys and no money, Ali could go nowhere. She tried to calm herself down. After a battle of wits and courage, she successfully locked the dog in the car and narrowly escaped once again. Just as she thought she had succeeded, a large hand suddenly grabbed her hair from behind and knocked her out with a punch. In a daze, she felt herself being dragged back to the house step by step. This time, Ali didn't struggle as before, looking at the body of the crew cut beside her. A mix of emotions filled in her heart. If it hadn't been for her, the crew cut wouldn't have returned again and again to save her, nor would he have lost his life here, realizing there would be no one to protect her like the crew cut had. She couldn't help to cry. Just then, a ladybug flew out of nowhere, landing on her fingertip. It lingered for a moment before flying away. Ali followed its direction and saw the remote control in the crew cut's hand. She remembered what the crew cut had told her. This time, without hesitation, she pressed the alarm switch. The sharp sound pierced the old veteran's eardrums. He clutched his head in pain. Feeling dizzy and disoriented, Ali picked up the hammer from the floor and hit the old veteran mercilessly. By then, the old soldier had lost all senses, firing his gun randomly in the room, knocking over picture frames, shattering vases. Until the bullet clip was empty, Ali seized the opportunity and knocked the old soldier down with the hammer. He fell into the dark basement. The scene shifted to a hotel near the airport. Ali looked at her lovely younger sister. Everything that had happened in the house felt like a lifetime ago. As she was lost in thought, the TV suddenly broadcasted a news update. Reclusive, blind old veteran successfully defended his home yesterday. Killing 2 burglars on the spot, he claimed the thieves didn't steal anything. Ali watched the news. Her hanging heart finally settled. Apparently, the old veteran didn't expose her. The events that had taken place in the house would remain as a secret forever. Having packed her luggages, Ali took her sister and finally embarked on a new journey as they had wished, leaving behind the old veteran's tolerance of her and the memory of the crew cut who had devoted his life to protect her. That's it for this video. Thank you all for your continued support. See you in the next episode.